Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
Staggers?
Yeah, I'd like to pull two items from the consent calendar.
Yes, sir.
One deals with the event center and legal services at $35,000.
Again, welcome to the meeting tonight. We're certainly pleased to have you here. There's a number of items on the agenda that I'll bet some of you folks will want to address. What we'd ask you to do is to wait until those items come up for discussion. However, if there are other items that are not on the agenda tonight that you want to talk about with your city council, it's a great opportunity to do that. We just ask you to come forward, introduce yourself to the people of our town, and if you could keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, we'd appreciate that. Welcome.
Scott Ehrisman, Sioux Falls. First, I want to say that Kermit did a wonderful presentation tonight, or at the informational meeting about the conference he went to, and it was great. I mean, it's things that modern communities try to do with transportation and stuff, and I'm glad you went. I'd love to talk to you later about it sometime.
Sounds good.
Also, Greg brought up a wonderful thing about the Winter Wonderland out at Falls Park, and always liked it, always thought it was great, and always thought what he said, how a person from the community said, how can I give to this? And I've always thought that it should be a community effort, and how can we turn this into something that the community supports and puts forth and puts the lights up and make it a community effort instead of, the taxpayers just paying for the whole thing. I was watching the City Scene show, the best CityLink show, and I don't know if anybody here watches CityLink, but Jolene Letcher puts on an amazing show, and she talked about how the forestry department people spend 2 months putting those lights up. And I just thought to myself, why not have people from the community doing it and having the forestry people doing what they should be doing, trimming the trees of this town? And just kind of ironic, and maybe next year we can turn Winter Wonderland into a community project. But I'm here to talk about garbage, actually. And over the past couple of years, we've done some things in the city where we've required garbage haulers to have more recyclables. And that is wonderful. I'm all for that. We've talked about enclosing dumpsters. We've talked about people hiding their garbage cans. And we've talked about residents recycling more. And that's great. As a person who's worked in restaurants in this community for almost 20 years, I can tell you that most restaurants in this town, besides cardboard and cooking oils, do not recycle. They don't recycle aluminum, and they don't recycle glass. Now, I'm saying most. I'm not saying all. And I've often wondered, why hasn't the city ever said, we're asking our residents to recycle, but hasn't anyone ever gone around from the landfill department or anything and said, restaurant, because we have over 700 restaurants, I guess, and why aren't we asking them to recycle glass and aluminum and requiring them to do so and to actually help out the garbage haulers, because it would help them out a lot. And what I would like to see is not a police force and going out and code enforcement and forcing restaurants to do this, but to have the landfill department to just do a survey to see how many restaurants do this and make it easier for them to recycle, because it's not hard. Let's admit it. At home, all of us who recycle, is it really that hard separating your aluminum cans and glass bottles? And it wouldn't be that hard for restaurants to do the same. So I'd like to see the city do a concerted effort to help the landfill, make sure that the restaurants in this town are doing the same as the residents are doing in this town. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I'm going to be gone, but I do hope you all have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Um,
Mr. White, would you just
I'm
introduce?
sorry, yes.
Thank you, sir.
L. Wiedermann
Thank you,
from
Mr.
Sioux Falls. I have something that really bothers me, and this is, why are we putting another $37 million into hiring an outside law firm from Ohio. I happen to know who the law firm is, to represent the city pertaining to the event center. Who is paying for that? And how much monies have already been spent with that law firm? Thompson Hine out of Cleveland is where their home office is. I'd also like to know how many change orders have been made at the event center, and who signs off on those, who approves, because some of them are quite a hunk of change. Something else that, if you all watched this Ferguson nightmare, President Obama has requested $263 million to equip and train 50,000 police officers with body cameras. I think Sioux Falls would be way behind the ball if they didn't apply for a grant to get some of that money and put body cameras on at least half of the police force in Sioux Falls. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wiedermann, if you wouldn't mind, you would, just to, thank you for your testimony, appreciate that. You said $37 million.
I'm sorry,
You meant
37,000.
Thank you, and it's actually 35,000, but thank you. I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that.
Well,
Thank you. Great job.
Excuse me, the way I understand it, there's already been $2,000 to $5,000 already furnished
Very
to
good.
this law
Thank
firm.
you. Good job. Thank you, Mr. Wiedermann. Appreciate it. Folks, would anybody else want to engage the council? Scott, thank you. Mr. Wiedermann, thank you. Appreciate that. We'll now move on to item number 16.
We have Mr. Staggers items.
Oh, thank you.
Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it, pat it, mark it with the B. Put it in the oven for baby and me.
Councilor Staggers,
Yes.
my apologies, sir. We are now going to move on to the two items that Councilor Staggers wanted to talk about from the consent agenda. The first one is Event Center Legal Services for $35,000. Councilor Staggers.
Yes. It's very fortuitous that Mr. Wiedermann brought this up in his earlier testimony, because I pulled this item, and I was talking to our city attorney about this today, and I mentioned to him that there are a number of citizens wondering, what is going on with the event center. In fact, I received a phone call a couple days ago. Somebody wanted to know what's going on with the siding issue. What's going on with the siding issue? And so this is part of what's going on with the siding issue. I was told that this $35,000 is for this law firm in Cleveland to deal with the siding issue. And the money apparently is coming out from some extra money that we had in the $117 million for building the event center. So I pulled this item, but I'm going to be voting for it, because I think it's important for us to be aware that we are still working on this siding issue, and hopefully we can get this resolved in the near future, and hopefully the city is not going to pay any additional money for that. Should be the contractors. So,
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on.